My affiliation has changed slightly. I'm now a full professor at the Institute of Educational Technology at the Open University in the UK as well. And still doesn't work, that is. And I'm very glad to be here to talk to you about the IEEE standard for augmented reality learning experience models. Maybe Dennis, you could help me with the slides and move to the next one, or give me the right to move through.
I am attempting to do that right now.
Claire, yeah, could try to wrench control from him by actually just, if you can get back around and touch the screen, you can use the hamburger menu to use the take control option.
Which I don't see.
Okay. The hamburger menu?
Yes, I see that.
And if you click on it, is take ownership a choice?
No.
Oh, ooh.
Oh, here we go. Somebody press the next
Click
slide.
Dennis is your guy. Yep.
Okay. Is that too much to ask for if you would move us through the slides, Dennis?
I will do that.
I'm
gonna try to stand away from you so people can see your avatar.
So, next slide, please. I thought I would talk about following things. I would try to attempt to define what augmented reality means and what it means in our context of learning solutions. Then I would talk about the #1 problem that we're facing when working with augmented reality and present you the solution, which is, of course, the standard that we're talking about. And last but not least, I have an outlook and a call for action for you guys. If you move us forward. So, what is augmented reality? Next slide. The inventors of the word quite rightly already said augmented reality is very useful for life guidance. So there was Cordell and Nivell in 1992, where they applied augmented reality only on head-mounted displays in their definition and for maintenance and building and assembly of airplanes. Next slide, please. If we look a little bit further, the most cited paper that we would find is Ron Azuma's survey of augmented reality, which has a bit flawed definition as it is circular, but the important point to take from it is that it's interactive and registered in 3D. And again there, it already speaks about how useful it could be for training purposes. Next slide, please. So, if we look at how we would define augmented reality from our modern vantage point, then if you move us to the next slide. Oh yeah, there we go. Then augmented reality encompasses a lot of things that we need to talk about when we talk about learning technology. So augmented reality, of course, is about the world out there. What you see on the right, reality, where we can, using a computer delivery system, create augmentations that create additional sensorial input. And if that input is prepared well, it magically works and fools our perceptive system that encodes the sensorial input, if we talk about the visual sense now, from the retina to the chiasma opticus in the middle of our brain. At the back end, we have the visual cortex. From there, it goes several pathways up and down to the rest of the brain, creating magically experience and helping us to stimulate our imagination and so on and so on. So I just used the word experience. That is quite nicely underlining what potential augmented reality has for learning. We can learn by experience from it if we do it well. The next slide, please. That's why we define an augmented reality as enhancing human perception with the computer-generated sensorial input that creates a new user experience. Different than earlier definitions, in that state-of-the-art definition, we would take a combined view of system and user and dissect of it. So if we're looking then at key notions surrounding this, then experiences, then of course around that cognitive and sensory motoric effects that we have from performing a learning activity, which is an activity targeting competence development, which means it's a workflow essentially. Right. So in our context of learning technologies, we can differentiate 4 different types of technology-based learning, as I would call it. Certainly a long, long time ago, in some places, even in the 1960s, we would have TEL 1.0, digitization, basically happening with the invention of the internet and email. So that instructors started trading slide decks or the equivalent thereof in the time. Quickly moving then to fast forward to the 90s when the web was invented and its precursors, ways of Gopher, doing things at scale, inventing the learning management system and the related standards, form or long, from where we in the last 15 years probably went to smart mobile applications that allow them for TEL 3.0, the phase of adaptation in which we would personalize things. The best example here is probably language learning with Duolingo or something like that. Standards related to that are then, of course, LTI, widgets, IMSLD for learning designs, and so on. And the last few years, we have entered a phase of what I call TEL 4.0, disintermediation, where we can use technologies such as augmented reality, such as virtual reality, such as mixed reality into our perceptive system and create experiences delivered then through wearable computing. Slide, please. So the first approaches that we have developed in my lab and in the project consortia I work with for supporting learning with wearables, in particular with smart glasses, here in front of you. That's an instructional design model that breaks the areas of support down into 4: learning tasks, supported information, part task practice, procedural information, and then for each of them comes up with instructional design methods, how to better support that. The earlier publication and one written by the lead author, Zibek Lindy, also has a very fantastic inventory of what has already been out there when we started our work at Huffington. Very much a recommended read. Good. So what is the current problem? When we look at
what we do to create anything in Nobody's Farm. What is it Nobody's Farm?
augmented reality.
Creating and share.
Next slide, please. That is the problem, that it is not really fully ready yet for the market. And if we listen to analysts, then we can see that we haven't arrived on the slope of enlightenment as Gartner's hype cycle would predict. So the technology doesn't mean we go through that technology trigger, something happens that makes things possible, then it gets hyped and overinflated expectations happen, and then we fall into that trustless disillusionment to then hopefully at some point in time move through the slope of enlightenment onto a plateau of productivity. Gartner has now dropped augmented reality last year from the hype cycle, and probably for good reason. If you look at it, I think in basically every year you will find that. You will find publications analyzing the status quo of augmented reality or augmented reality in education, and it always boils down to one thing: lack of content, small number of domains, lack of applications, lack of content creation tools. So that's the situation that we were facing when we started to work on the standard, that we lack content, and content is king, as we all know. Why we set out back in 2015 to invent a solution for that, which we called augmented reality learning experience models. So, looking at the solution, we can jump to the next slide as well. Go about what we need. We need support to transform legacy data. There's a lot of content out there. It may not just be augmented reality executable. We need mechanisms for data fusion. We need versioning control. We need transport containers so that we can build tool chains to convert stuff. And ideally, we need also web elements so that we can make use of existing infrastructures of logging endpoints for learning analytics, for example, as you see depicted here, or existing learning management systems, 3D, 4D repositories, technical documentation, and design tools. ARLEM, we therefore built in a way that it has two data models for expressing augmented reality learning experiences. And both of them can be displayed in JSON or XML. Right, please. Those two data models are an activity description language and a workplace markup language, which deal with task-dependent descriptions, how you interact with the real and the virtual, and as for the workplace model, learning environment model, and context model, it deals with what are the elements that are featured therein. They are described with small sections in the workplace model file, describing what things, persons, places exist, what well, configurables exist, meaning what sensors are around that I can talk to, what devices are there, the apps. And then, of course, the part in between about the augmentations. How do I detect actually an object? What is the marker that needs to be stuck on it, or what is the feature cloud on it, so I can automatically detect it? And then further things like primitives and predicates and warnings that I will explain in a second. These can then be featured in the activity, meaning a workflow description of what you actually need to do with action steps, and the action steps, then each of them have an enter and exit loop that you see depicted here. So we have the possibility to launch augmentations and remove them from the visual field or from other channels like audio. And the way they get moved from step 1 to step 2 is by some sort of trigger, which can be a voice command trigger or some sort of detection. Built in is also the possibility to log with the experience APIs from learning analytics. On the next slide, I will show you a picture of what that looks like in the real world. So imagine you have a smart glass set like HoloLens or Magic Leap, or the ones on a similar quality level that allow you to see unobstructed the real world through transparent glasses, and then superimpose additional light beams on them to make some shimmering polygons appear in the room with you that are anchored on the object. What you see here are task cards that bit by bit guide you through a procedure. In the background, you see a Mars rover that's from a project where we ran some tests. Astronaut trainers and space engineers to see how well the solution is working, and we can say for our group that stations to the space agencies, for example, to take up that work if we ever want to make life on Mars happen, or even a movement. Why are we doing that? It is about simplifying content authoring through a defined standard. We additionally built in the possibilities for the primitives and predicates. So there's a built-in visual language for instructing people on how to handle and move things and objects, which makes it easier to create content. There is a standard vocabulary, a visual vocabulary available. Less need for bespoke 3D content that is expensive to build. It creates interoperability, so that allows you to create a tool chain for transforming existing content. Your AR products future-proof, because you can be sure that you can get your content out at a later point in time without losing anything. And it interfaces nicely with your analytics solution. Good. Outlook and call for an action. At the moment, we are building a recommended architecture in several projects together, contributing here. And you can see an outlook here on the different layers. You have the services required, as well as the So watch this space, and the iLRN community, we will certainly make this new and kick up a bit of fuss as soon as it's available. It's a Unity project that we're currently cleaning up, streamlining, refactoring, and making more cross-platform, so as to lower entrance barriers for anyone of you who wants to embed augmented reality learning into your curriculum at scale. And like that will help you certainly to come to terms with how you start using ARLEM. ARLEM is a collection of JSON files, one file per activity, one file per workplace, learning environment, or classroom. The workplace model describes what objects, tools, people, localities exist, and the activity model then allows to feature those in sophisticated learning activities that include both tasks of how you approach something where you need to be up to the cooperative tasks, effectively allowing you to embed. This will also allow us and everyone to scale up operations significantly. The content authoring barrier is lowered because we can build web authoring tools for example, Moodle, like the prototype that you see here linked. I've been sending you links as well to investigate that further. And yeah, a client implementation will be available for wide-scale use to build your own products. Summarize, coming back maybe to Ron Azuma's paper again, very nicely Ron said it took about 25 years, and that was back in 1997, took about 25 years to progress from drawing stick figures on a screen to the photorealistic dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. Within another 25 years, we should be able to wear a pair of AR glasses outdoors to see and interact with photorealistic dinosaurs eating a tree in your. That's possible. I haven't seen exactly that, but I mean, technically we still have 2 years to go, right? Oh, this course notes are from 1995. Make it nicely now to 2020. But nonetheless, we're still not fully there with widespread uptake of augmented reality, and I think it needs to happen in education to make it possible for use at wider scale for all mankind, all humanity. So maybe for 2022, let's try and attempt this. All of us can learn about dinosaurs and any other topic with these new Tel for Zero disintermediation technologies on smart glasses and other liquid devices. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fridolin. Very much appreciate you coming. And let me see if this works. I'm going to try to shake your hand. Where is it? There it is. All right.
Click on here and
click on your name and then shake hands. All right. I think we did it. All right. Thank you. So we have a couple minutes left. The rest of the day, please go to Sketch. If you do have questions for Fridolin or Carl, I think they're both still around, so feel free to mingle with them, come up to them, ask them questions. Thank you so much for attending.